Welcome to another episode of Ship of War, my review of Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow is directed by Doug Liman. It stars Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, and a bunch of other very talented actors and actresses. Now, the premise of the story follows a character named Cage, played by Tom Cruise. He gets himself in a situation where he gets the ability to relive his life over and over again every single time he dies. And because he gets into this situation, he goes and seeks out the help of this one character that is the face of the special forces that he's in that fights this war against the aliens, and that's Emily Blunt's character named Rita. And she's this badass chick that all men admire, and because of that, Tom Cruise feels like she could be the help that he needs. Now, this movie is based off of a graphic novel called All You Need Is Kill. Now, this is the American version of the graphic novel. It's actually based off of a Japanese graphic novel. I've been somewhat tad bit obsessed with this movie ever since I saw the trailer in the movie theaters. And just something clicked with me when I finally saw it on the big screen. And I felt this chemistry between Tom Cruise's character and Emily Blunt's character on the screen. It wasn't so much the premise. It was the fact that I felt so much towards these two characters on the screen while watching the trailer that made me very interested in finally seeing this movie. After watching it, I have to say it met every expectation I had for this film. I absolutely adore this movie. The other thing that I really liked about the film, outside from the fact that the chemistry was awesome, was that Emily Blunt's character, Rita, she's a badass chick, and it's rare to see movies where they do female characters as well as this film did. Rita was a very important key role in this movie. Without Rita, Tom Cruise's character, Cage, just would have never been able to succeed in anything in this film. And the other thing is that her character is seen as somebody who's very important to the overall special forces that they're in. People admire her. People look up to her. Men, when they see her, they just look at her in awe, not because of her looks, but because of the fact of who she is, who she represents, and what she's capable of doing out in the field when she's fighting these aliens. So I really like that they put this very strong female character in this movie and did her justice in so many ways. And Emily Blunt is just absolutely amazing as the character. I mean, I know Tom Cruise is this big Hollywood actor, but he was so secondary, for me at least, in this film. I thought Emily Blunt as Rita was by far the best thing in this movie, the best character in this film. The other thing that I really liked about this movie is that it gave me a nostalgic feeling when it came to sci-fi movies. Now, Bill Paxton is in this film, and when he appeared on the screen, I just almost lost it, okay? Because I wasn't expecting that. I had no idea he was in this movie. Even though I've been semi-obsessed with this film prior to seeing it, I really never read up on the cast. I never read up much on the movie because I didn't want to spoil myself. So when I saw him come up on the screen, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Bill Paxton. And then it gets to another part where we meet this group of military people called J Squad. And after meeting this group of people, I just got this nostalgic, awesome feeling of aliens, and thinking back to an awesome sci-fi movie while watching a new sci-fi movie in a very positive way is just something of a win for me personally. The other thing that I really absolutely enjoyed about this movie is the mixture of humor and action and just drama all into one. I mean, this movie had some really funny scenes, like laugh out loud scenes. I recall laughing out loud at least 4 different times while watching this movie, not expecting it at all to be laughing. I didn't expect to be laughing during this movie, but this movie had some really great funny scenes. The other thing I really liked about this movie that I thought that was very interesting was, you see this in the trailer, is the fact that they're fighting on a beach, and the way they come on the beach reminds me a lot of Normandy and D-Day during World War II. And I found that to be interesting because while I'm watching the movie and being reminded of this historical day in, I guess, world history when it comes to World War II and European history and American history, I am reminded that the day that I'm watching the movie is June 6th. This movie came out on June 6th here in the United States. And for those who know, D-Day happened on June 6th. So I thought that was very interesting how the beach scene had that very Normandy D-Day type of feel to it. But I just thought that was really clever in that way that it reminded me of that, even though I don't know if they did that on purpose or not, but I thought I would just mention it. The other thing that I really enjoyed about this movie is the fact it did a great job when it came to practical effects and then actual CGI visual effects. It did both things, and it did it in a good way, and I like the fact that they used practical effects when making this movie, and they didn't heavily depend on CGI to the point that you're getting taken out of the film. At least that's how I am when it comes to CGI. I mean, I get to a point with CGI that I'm like, okay, enough. I can't, okay, enough with CGI now. I can't do it right now. I need to look at something real. Let me look at my popcorn. Okay, that's real. Okay, back to CGI. Like, I get like that with CGI, and this movie had a very tasteful way of using practical effects and CGI that I just absolutely love. I've already seen the movie twice since it came out. Yeah, it's gotten to that point. And I have to say, I can't find many, if any, flaws when it comes to this film. This movie is almost flawless when it comes to just storytelling and it comes to dealing with time travel. I feel like they did an amazing job. I mean, you can nitpick this movie when it comes to maybe dialogue or not liking a character, but when it comes to telling the story, I have to say they did an amazing job. Now, if I had to have any negative thing to say about this film is I did not care for the end. And the reason why I didn't care for the end, because the way this movie ended, it made me want more of the film. I'm like emotionally attached to this movie in so many ways right now. Again, I am obsessed. I mean, it's gotten to the point that I feel like I need to talk to a psychologist and explain my feelings towards this movie and ask him how can I get over it, because I feel like I've gotten broken up by this film because the way it ended just made me feel like I don't want you to end this thing we're having right now, this moment of time we're having right now. Why are you ending it this way? It's just, I don't know, I gotta say, I guess I wasn't satisfied with how it ended because it made me want to have more of the movie. And that's a good thing, but again, it could be a bad thing. I don't know. For me, it was just a bag of emotions. I definitely recommend this movie to anybody who had any interest in seeing this movie and who hasn't seen it yet. Please go see this movie. Support it in the movie theaters. Throw your money at it. And for those who had no interest in seeing it, go see it anyways. Anybody who has a pulse, go see this movie. Please support it. It's an amazing sci-fi movie. We don't get many sci-fi movies like this, and it's one that we need to support. So that is my review of Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. 22 Jump Street is directed by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and it stars Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, and Ice Cube. Now, the premise of this movie is basically, the way I would explain it, is you take the premise from the first movie, put it into this movie, change the fact that it takes place in high school, now it takes place in college. It almost felt like it was a spoof of the original.